I know what it's like to be in a situation where you believe that if that person just came back and apologized, if they just let you know that they truly care, that all of it wasn't just in your head, or even the opposite, at least if they just came to let you know, if they just gave you just a glimpse of closure, just a bit of closure, that everything would be okay, that you would feel better, that you could finally move forward with your life. If they just gave you that closure, things would be back to normal. And I promise you this, I promise you this, I have experienced exactly that. I have experienced an individual coming back, actually two individuals in my life who came back and apologized and said it was their fault and was on them. And, all these things that I had been waiting for, yearning for even. They came back and they gave me the entire entree and even more than I could have asked for. And you know what happened? First and foremost, it was fantastic. First and foremost, it hit the spot. It was like my redemption day for that moment. But then the next day came, and the next day came, and the next day, and all of a sudden, what I thought was going to be this lasting inner peace, this lasting inner closure, wasn't closure at all. As a matter of fact, I found myself in a very same emotional state, or even worse off sometimes than I had been before I had gotten that so-called closure. And what I come to realize is that what I needed was not closure. What I needed was not an apology. What I needed was not for them to come back and tell me the things that I wanted to hear. What I needed was healing. And most of us, we have this idea, concept, or even fed this concept that, somebody needs to come back into your life and give you closure in order for you to move forward. And so we wait and we wait and we postpone and we allow that bitterness or that resentment or that pain or that hatred to continue to fester within us. And it becomes more than just the wound that it was. It becomes an infected wound, and it becomes more infected. And eventually we find ourselves having to eradicate complete parts of ourselves because we didn't do what we were supposed to do in the very beginning, which was to seek healing from those situations. You see, most people walk into our lives and they either create wounds or they poke at the wounds. They expose the wounds, right? And for most of us, these are wounds that we have not taken care of. These are childhood wounds that we have not addressed completely, that we have ignored, that we have repressed, that we have suppressed in the hopes that they will go away, that they will take care of themselves, so long as we have them out of our consciousness. But all that happened was they became a part of our subconscious, and they started to manifest themselves as our life experience. They started to project onto others. They started to project onto ourselves as shame and guilt and all these emotions that are so tightly wound within our personality that most of the time we don't even recognize it. And so we go around with, I guess I have to paint this picture for you because it was the most helpful for myself, right? We basically have somebody, let's say, create a wound. So somebody creates a huge cut within your leg, and now you have a wound that's exposed. And instead of going to look for a surgeon or a physician or somebody who can do something about the wound, we go looking for the person who created the wound in order for them to fix it. Well, I got news for you. That person cannot fix what they don't understand. You see, that's just a hurt person hurting another person. That's just an individual who only knows what it is to be wounded, wounding you and wounding those around them. And that becomes a cycle when we don't take care of the wound, when we don't take our wounds to the one who understands. And for me, that is coming back to source. That is coming back to the infinite intelligence that understands all things, that puts all of life into motion, that I cannot even fathom one iota, one fraction of a fraction of a fraction of, to take that wound to that one who knows how to heal. And the only way I can go to that place is by going within, is by tapping in with myself and truly doing the work necessary. Doing the work that is necessary for me to overcome, for me to grow through that situation instead of just go through it and then find myself in the midst of it for the rest of my life, finding myself in a cycle for the rest of my existence. And most of us believe that, again, just because something was suppressed or something was repressed, something was pushed to the back burner, that it doesn't have to be taken care of. It doesn't have to be dealt with. Yet our lives are like this leaking fluid that continues to perspire, that continues to ooze out of us. And we wonder why these things happen in our life, why we continue to attract the same people, why we continue to entertain the exact same situations. Why do we find ourselves trapped? Why do we find ourselves in the same bondage that we told ourselves that we were going to finally be free of? And what we don't realize is when we have not first and foremost forgiven those situations, not meaning bringing the person back in, not meaning saying that what that individual did was correct or right, but it is letting go of that situation first and foremost and going within and truly seeing what is the core of this wound. Where did this begin? Because for most of us, it didn't begin in an intimate relationship down the road. It began as a child in the environment that you were raised in. Maybe you were raised in a poverty mentality in a scarcity-filled home, and the individuals around you always lived in scarcity. They were afraid that there wasn't enough anything to go around. And so you didn't experience enough love. You didn't experience enough comfort, enough care. You didn't experience enough of anything because the people around you were so afraid. They were afraid and they lived their lives from that state of fear. And so you continue to live a life of lack, a life of not enoughness. And you wonder why, man, why am I having money problems in my life, right? I had to face this. Why am I having these issues? Why do I keep on having the same thing reoccurring? I got $500 that came, randomly from a bonus, and all of a sudden a situation happens where now I got to spend that $500 and some, right? You got a fund that you put together, an emergency fund. All of a sudden, emergency fund is wiped out because some emergency pops up. And these things continue to happen. But what you're not realizing, what you're not coming to understand is that these things are far more deeply rooted. These things are rooted as belief systems. These things are rooted within your own personality, your own identity even, which is far more powerful than a personality. They're rooted in who you believe you are. And so most of us walk around with the belief that I am not enough, I am not deserving, I am not worthy. And so our lives become a demonstration of that exact same thing. We walk around life with an inferiority complex. And so we wonder why we allow people to walk all over us and why we get into situations where we're acting as a savior, but we're just being brutalized time and time again, where we're not coming to face to face, or when we're not coming to realization of, or the actualization of, is the truth. And the truth is the only thing that will set you free. And the truth is exposed once you're willing to put light into dark places, once you're willing to put light into those spaces that you've been ignoring for far too long. And so what you need is not closure, my friend. What you need is healing. Closure is a result of healing, true closure. But the closure that we are told to seek, the closure that we often think is going to fix the things around us, is a temporary solution. It is only for the moment. It is a soothsaying, a word for right now that we believe is going to bring us into wholeness. And then we find ourselves in the very same place again. And we think, maybe I need more closure. Maybe I need that person to tell me something else. Maybe I need these people to do something different, or the current person that I'm with, or my friends need to do this. And we start looking for people to even meet our needs, and people to do things, people to validate our existence, because we're looking outside for a solution that is necessary to be inside. We're looking for external solutions to internal problems. That's what I'm looking for. We're looking for external solutions to internal problems. We're looking to fix things from the outside that are taking place within us. And it's only when we come to that truth, and I am being repetitive on purpose. I am doing this because I need to lodge this idea, this concept, this truth within your own subconscious. I need to make sure that you leave understanding what I'm saying. That you do not need closure. What you need is healing. And healing is an internal job. Healing does not come with other people doing something or saying something. They might spark the healing. I'm just speaking on this. I'm just an individual who, let's say at this point in time, I was called into your life in this format to remind you of where you need to go, to remind you to go within, to remind you to tap in with your source, period. That might be my job right now, but even with the words that I'm saying, I cannot give you the healing that you seek. And again, once you seek healing, once you seek the core of what's going on, once you are able to let go of those things that are at the midst or the core of who you are, then the closure and everything else will come as a byproduct. I promise you that. We're looking for the wrong solutions to the wrong problems in most cases. We think it's one thing and then we think something is going to fix it, right? And I usually use the thing of, trying to get in the best shape. Most of us think, okay, if I just change the way that I eat and change the way that I work out, then, I'll lose the weight and I'll get into that shape that I'm looking to get into. But in truth, how many times have you already done that? Like, it's not rocket science. The formula is pretty straightforward. The numbers are there for anybody who wants to follow them. Yet most of us go down that track time and time and time again. Take the weight off, put it on. Take the weight off, put it on. Take the weight off, put it on. Because we're looking for a solution externally to something that's happening internally. There are beliefs that we're holding that are stopping us from stepping into what we desire to step into. There are beliefs within us that are stopping us from greatness. And it is deeper than what meets the eye. It is always deeper. But I tell you this, when you're willing to go deep, they will reveal themselves. God will always reveal truth to one who seeks the truth. That is a universal truth that will forever be in existence. There's no one time that the truth is going to be hidden from you if you seek the truth. And there's no one time where the truth will not set you free. It might hurt at first. It might be gruesome. It might be the darkest thing you ever look at. But within that, there's going to come a freedom that you've never experienced before. Freedom from whatever it is that you are bound in right now can only come from the truth, period. So, if you're somebody who is in the process right now, if you're somebody who, let's say, was in the process of looking for closure, and this has guided you at the very least guided you to a different place to look, then I want to make sure that you stay upon this journey. So make sure that you stay tuned in. There's going to be plenty of content around these types of subject matters, around healing, around transcending the current state of self, around tapping in with your truth, period, with the truth, period. And so if you are somebody who is also diligently on this journey and you're somebody who is looking for guidance during this journey, I want to open up or extend an olive branch to you at this moment. And I want to be a coach within your life. And the way that I can do that is if you obviously want to opt in. So I am opening up my calendar for those who are looking to take that step, who are looking for transformation beyond information. Therefore, if you go in my description right now in the caption of this video, you'll find a link that will lead you directly to a booking page. And in that booking, you can find a time that works for you, works for me. During that time, we're going to create strategy. We're going to go over exactly where you are within your life. And we're going to see if we are complementary for one another, if we can truly partner up in this part of your journey, and if I can do something for you. But again, I can't make you drink. I can only lead you to that water. I can only be a mirror. I can't be what you see in that mirror. You must be willing to do that for yourself. And I want to help you in that journey. So if you are that person, make sure to check out the link in the description below. I appreciate you. Love you. Thank you. Peace.